Hello and greetings there, everybody. I'm back from the wonderful Labor Day vacation. Sorry I've been gone a few days, but I had to go to the beach and hang out even though it rained and there was no beaching to be had. Let's get started. Excuse me. So, I've got a confession to make. I actually, right before I went out of town, tried to do a recording. And, yeah, it was just miserably terrible. It just didn't go well. I was fumbling and bumbling all over the place. So I decided to just, and I was even quiet for vast parts of it. So what I wanted to do was I just spent some time, a couple of hours, just doing a whole bunch of crap off camera to just better familiarize myself with the game controls. Also kind of grow the city a little bit more. But never fear, it's not like I finished off the entire Let's Play all in one go off camera. I just wanted to grow the city a bit more, familiarize myself with a few things. So what I want to focus on in today's video is just walk you through what I've changed and then kind of tell you guys some of the problems that have occurred from what I've added and changed, and then we'll probably be spending the next couple of episodes trying to fix everything I broke. Alright, so first things first, you'll notice that this entire area is completely different. We had a road going across the city into here and all this stuff. And basically the traffic between the industrial sector and the rest of the city was an absolute nightmare. So what I did is I spent some energy trying to experiment with different options on how to clean this up and provide some other avenues. So one of the first things I tried was, I'll call this the Crosstown Expressway, which is a route that takes people directly out of the industrial sector underground, and it will actually come out in my new downtown district here. Now, you've already noticed there's an obvious problem with this, right? There is a serious problem. That tunnel is backed all the way on the other end, so we've got traffic running all the way from the other side of the city. So that tunnel actually has got to go. It actually helped a lot in the beginning, but now it's become so problematic that now we basically have traffic backing up from across the city. Big problem. Okay, next thing. Here in this area, what I did was I realized that the garbage collection was also choking the traffic in this area. And as a long-term plan, I wanted to make the riverfront nice and pretty, not nasty and horrible along this river. And also this will provide another avenue eventually as an exit point to, again, relieve some of the traffic stress off of the city. So it's been a long process, but all of the incinerators and dumps that I've had here, I'm now moving to the south side of town, and I have to empty each one of these, which is causing a lot of traffic problems here too. What I've done is I've created on the outskirts of the city an area specifically for where trash will get dumped off to. Already, it's filling up big time. So trash is still a major problem in the city, and I don't know how to deal with it because, I mean, I've got all these incinerators here, and I mean, they're processing garbage. But maybe what it is that they're not being used to their full capacity. So I think what I might have to do in the long term is, once I get these all the dumps moved down to the south side of town, then I'm gonna go ahead and see if the system is going to automatically fill up using trucks to incinerate garbage. And this is a much better flow for the garbage in and out of the area. So I've experimented with like these one-way roads that kind of take people in along here, take them down along here. So things kind of excuse me. I think my sinuses are kicking up. Things kind of flow in a circle around the area. Okay, So that's another experimentation I've got going on there. All right, another thing I've got going on is I discovered oil. There's oil in them there hills. So what I've done is I've built an entire industrial sector dedicated to oil. Now, I've got a serious problem here, and I have this problem both in this industrial sector and this area of the industrial sector. Labor. It's just for some reason I'm not getting enough laborers. I've put a lot of work into a transit system that I've kind of put the beginnings of, which I'll talk about in just a second, thinking that was a problem. Maybe workers can't get out here. But I don't know. I don't know if I don't know if that's the problem. Or it could be that I simply don't have enough workers in my city to sustain industry of this size. I also thought it might be an educational problem because people require a certain level of education. Oops, don't plop that down. People require a certain level of education in this area. So, for example, this is not an enough workers thing. So maybe that's a problem. Maybe I'm either educating too much or too little. But I definitely have a problem, and it's keeping those areas from populating. All right. Next problem I have, 2 of my industrial zones. These places are burning down like crazy, and I don't know why. I've got fire stations, fire departments, but still, everything keeps burning down. And I don't know why. And so we're going to have to spend some time trying to figure out that problem. All right. Next thing I've done, our tiny town that I kind of built up, I've now gone ahead and expanded our tiny town to be a bigger town with lots of residential. I originally did this as a thought to try and solve the problem in this area as I built up my farms that they didn't have enough workers. So I went ahead and expanded the farmland out and added a whole bunch of housing. And it's still a problem. Workers. And I just think that I just simply don't have enough people in the city is my theory. All right. Little bitty things. Also, I've moved the power supply. I've moved the water production areas out into the river because I know that's going to be a nice source of fresh water that I'm not going to pollute that much anytime soon. All right, let's move on to the downtown area. So the downtown area, I've done a lot of expansion because apparently at one point there was this massive demand for commercial, and there still very much is. So my downtown area has absolutely, exploded with people, with stuff, all kinds of googly boops and googly gocks. All right, so I've done a lot of work in expanding the main commercial area, and I think it's shaped up quite nicely. Look at all that crowd over there. I know I'm going to get to that in just a second about the public transit. That's going to be the big thing to talk about. And it's made for a very bustling, crowded city, right? And that's been nice. And I've expanded that area all throughout this lower part of the riverfront. And that's actually turned out quite nice. I still got to do some work on kind of making a nice, pretty skyline come into shape, but I think it's grown into itself. Even things like the university we put down in the park and everything, that's kind of looking a lot better, a lot nicer, kind of that riverside area. And just most of the residential area has been a lot of expansion. Now, here's something I definitely want to show off. Is what I've also done is I've experimented with coming up with a much nicer area for the city, which is a really cool really cool shopping and commercial and housing residential area. And I'm really excited about this. So I've got the St. Louis gateway type thing going on here. And it kind of leads right into the beautiful area. Oh, good, the bus is going to come straight in there. And so it kind of comes into this really neat park-like area. And it kind of is like a gateway into the mall area here. So it actually looks really cool. I actually kind of like it. So my thoughts was that this little area becomes an area for art and shopping and commerce and light offices. Some things that I might do is turn this into like a district where there's no high rises in this area, because I kind of want to make it like it's not a bunch of tall skyscrapers everywhere. It'll kind of ruin the ambiance. But my thoughts is that this whole area would be essentially the gateway into this soon coming development, which we'll call like Lakeside or Laketon or something, where it'll be nice posh houses and villas along the coastline of the lake, lots of shopping and commerce and all kinds of stuff over here. So that's what I'm kind of thinking for that part of the town. But it came out kind of nice, and it's given me an opportunity to create some new exits, and I've kind of experimented with this style of exit, and that works out pretty nicely. So yeah, that kind of worked. That's kind of worked out. So those are the highlights. Those are the highlights. Oh yes, duh. I forgot the thing I've been saying I'm going to talk about. The transit system. Holy smokes. I spent a lot of time trying to think this through. I admittedly did not do a whole lot of reading on this. I just wanted to kind of do trial and error and experiment myself. What is that glowing there? Good gravy. That building's on fire. Sweet Jesus, it's a fur. So what my goal was to create kind of like a central transit center to start, because thinking that would help alleviate a lot of the traffic, and also my reasoning and hopes was that would help carry workers out to these regions out here that are complaining that they don't have any workers. So basically the way it was supposed to work was like this. Start off with buses. I have 2 bus depots here. Buses come in, and literally I have bus line stops all along this road. Buses also come up here, bus line stops all along this road. Buses come in here, bus line stops all along this road. Buses will then, after they pick up or drop off their passengers here in the transit center, will then either veer off this way out of the neighborhood, or they'll veer off down this road here and out here, or, which I thought would work out very cool, is they'd veer off right into the Crosstown Expressway. Problems. Yeah, this intersection is too damn busy. So that's a problem. The second problem is that the Crosstown Expressway is too packed. It's packed with buses trying to get in this area, right? So that they can drop off and pick up passengers. It's also packed with buses trying to get out of the area. And it didn't really work out like I quite hoped. My strategy was how I built the actual transit lines works a little bit like so. So every transit line starts off in the central bus terminal. Say a particular bus line will then carry passengers all the way out to a specific industrial or working area, right? Pick up and drop off people, and then then terminate its route right back here at the bus terminal. Okay? And it does this for pretty much all of what I consider the major sectors of the city. So carrying people here to here, carrying people here, out here, carrying people here to the downtown area, even carrying people out to the farmland. I mean, people use it. And even when I look at the profitability numbers, I mean, it's making money. You know, people are taking the bus. We're getting about $1,200 off of it. I think it's costing us, if I look at the breakdown. Wait a second. Hey, it's making less money. It was making double profits. So, yeah, so actually the problems that I thought was going to happen are actually now real problems. I mean, people are using the system, but it's actually becoming less profitable. Also, the problems with the bus systems is problems like this. I mean, seriously. Look at this. I mean, it is positively it's a nightmare that there are like thousands of people sitting here waiting to get on the bus. I mean, it's not good. And there are scenes like this all over the city where it's just gobs and gobs of people desperately waiting to get on the bus. Not good. Not good at all. Not good at all. The other thing that I've done is I attempted to create a train system because my thoughts were, okay, so people will take the train and take them to major arteries to major other sectors across the city. Right? I thought that was going to work. I thought that was going to be fantastic. No, it's problematic because it's clogging up the trains and no one's freaking using the trains. So, I think I might be coming down with a cold because I'm hacking and coughing here. But nobody's actually using these trains and it's just clogging up. So one of my things I'm probably going to do is completely demolish the train system and rethink it. Maybe as a loop, maybe make it a closed loop train system that doesn't connect to the primary train system, because now it's actually clogging up all of the cargo, which I did create a cargo system as well to help things out, which has actually been good. But what that means is as cargo gets dropped off, there's tons of vehicles that slide in through the highway here. They come in, pick up their cargo at the cargo train station, and then they shuttle it through our small town neighborhood and it ends up becoming a big line into the industrial sector to drop off the goods. So the cargo side is kind of functional, but could be much better. The actual passenger train system is just ridiculous. It doesn't work. Nobody uses it. I need to trash it and come up with something better. One success transit-wise that I have had is the subway system. People are using that mug like a son of a gun. My goodness, you're just seeing people pouring in and out of the subway. Let me show you how they got the subway set up. And I think this kind of process worked out really well. So what I have is I've done it like a looping system around the city. So this is the main train station. I call it, Grand Mega Central Station. And I have an outer train loop. The outer train loop runs throughout the downtown area, right, into the industrial sector, and then out into this sector where the oil fields are, and then in the garbage sector, and then takes a very nice long trip into the shopping mall area where all the shopping and all that stuff is. I wonder if that's really getting used. Not too much, but I suspect that's going to grow. And then comes into some of the residential zones, which it's used quite heavily, right? And then ultimately leads itself right back into the central station. Now I have a second loop. The second loop actually is, I call it the inner train loop. So the inner line actually runs from here and it runs throughout the residential zones, right, into the industrial zones, the inner sectors of the industrial zones. And then it doesn't actually hit the oil fields in this particular case. Well, it kind of hits the oil fields at this train station and then here, which isn't going to really get used, but will eventually get used. And then to the outer side here, and it picks up some of the residential people here, and then comes back to this station. This station has a line that runs from here to the central station. So my idea here is that people can actually take the central station to get to the inner loop, or take the inner loop to get to the central station to take transit to the outer loop, and vice versa. And actually, I think this system has worked extremely well. People are using it. Profitability-wise, I believe it's making money. I think it's I'm making $2,600 off of it right now, and I think I'm grossing $7,700 off of it. That's awesome. So my subway system was a rousing financial and functional success. However, the train system was bad. The bus system is hit and miss. So we've got to spend a lot of energy completely rethinking the bus system. And if anybody has any ideas, I think that's the system that I want to work on improving next. An idea that I have for improving the bus system is to actually change it. So like I said right now, right, is I have a line that starts at the central station that then takes people all around and about a certain area and then back to the central station. My thought is this: what if I get rid of all of our current lines and I create local bus lines around key neighborhoods, and then I have a bus that takes people to that key neighborhood, and all it does is it shuttles people back and forth to the key neighborhood, right? So what that means is that there aren't buses constantly clogging up trying to get every single bus all the way down to downtown, because not every bus is getting filled when it's traversing through this area, right? So I might as well create a local line that carries people around, and then one express line that takes people from the main station back, and that's it. So I'm thinking that's a system that I want to employ and try, and I think it'll reduce some of the overall craziness of the traffic. And it's also going to be way more efficient use of the traffic system. Okay, that long-winded explanation, I hope, has brought everybody up to speed. Everything else I've done has really been just run-in-the-mill expansion, and then just improving utilities to meet the increased needs. So we've managed to expand the city. We've managed to expand our population. But we got problems that we've got to fix, adding in places for dead people and such. And I think for the next couple of episodes, we'll tackle each problem, as time permits, to see if we can fix them. Because I think these are really, really systematic problems that I need to fix now before we grow the city any further. All right. So I know this wasn't an exciting video where I kind of did a whole bunch of stuff, but I hope it kind of I wanted to spend some time off camera experimenting. I probably should have experimented on camera, but I thought it'd end up being too boring because I'd be sitting here going, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. But perhaps maybe next time we'll do some a little bit more experimentation. All right, guys, that's it for this video. I know it's just a little synopsis video, but I hope that you guys find it helpful. I'm going to do probably another video this week in which the first thing I want to tackle is the bus system and completely redesigning the lines along the lines of what I've just talked about a minute ago. And that's probably what we'll tackle on next. Anyway, guys, comment, subscribe, tell me what I'm doing wrong, because I know for a fact that I'm doing everything wrong. And I look forward to catching you guys later. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye for now.